Hey guys, welcome back to some AFK Journey. Today we're going to be looking at the endless mode for the Necrodrakon. Now, as you can see, the current rank is 126. I'm going to show you the team that I achieved this with. Now, I've went through, we tried a lot of different teams, honestly, and going through here, this has been the best shot. So I went through, and the reason being, and we'll go through a couple teams because they could work for you, is one of the big things is not having Rainier built. So Rainier, of course, when you start building him up a little bit further, when you do get him to the Mythic Plus, he adds a big boost if you don't have him built up just like I do, enough to actually be effective. He can do a couple different things in here, including teleporting some of the heroes, but overall the effectiveness with the essentially the A team, the B team, everything else that we've seen hasn't really worked. Now, of course, when you look in conjunction, I finally got Smokey built up a little bit further, actually unlocked the exclusive item for him, which made a big difference. Also looking at Corinne, we got it to the +5. Merrily is at a +7 right now. Now, another thing that I want to note is with Temsia. So Temsia is another hero that, of course, you do want to build out. They said Supreme Plus is really the big part where you're going to amplify the damage in here. Unfortunately, I'm not at the point where we do have her at Supreme Plus. I need a couple more copies. Haven't had a lot of RNG in here as far as building her out. Now, of course, we are running Smokey in front. We have Temsia right behind. And one thing with this boss is this boss literally drops a pool on the ground that does a considerable amount of damage. When you look at Merrily, when you look at Corinne, they will move out of it. Same with Temsia. They will move out of that pool, which does make a really big difference. Now, of course, looking here at Merrily, we did get the +5, again, exclusive item. We actually have it at I believe, 8 right now. Don't have any more resources to build it higher. This, of course, is going to be the place where you're getting more resources to actually build them out. So I'm hoping this is going to make a big difference. And this, again, is the formation specifically that I found that worked the best. As you can see, we're on level 269 right now. We have a lot of these heroes built out, except really Kruger. Kruger, we still do need a little bit more further, but overall, if you have one copy of Kruger, it works well. I do like him to live a little bit because even though he doesn't do a lot of damage, he still does do damage. Now, of course, this game mode also has a pretty big high RNG factor, which we've seen with a lot of these bosses within the Dream Realm. There is a pretty big RNG factor, but of course, having Smokey built up a little bit, you can see the aroma is actually covering all of my heroes here, and I believe it might even be doing a little bit of damage. Now, if you've looked before, usually Smokey doesn't do any damage, but if they are in the aroma, so essentially if they're within that pool, I believe it does a little bit of damage, so he could even be just pushing the envelope a little bit further. And of course, regardless of kind of who you have in here, the higher that you build them out, the better, of course, they're going to perform, not only based on the levels, but based on the heroes themselves. And looking at the shielding, even here with the true damage, you can see ultimate ability right there did take out Smokey, which we start kind of folding. And I had to really make sure, looking at the time here, if you're not getting your heroes essentially to the point of being able to survive the full duration of the fight, which there was 50.99, but if they are not living the entire fight, you are losing. And there we go. We went to rank number 90 in here. Now, of course, we are on server number 1, so it's kind of crazy. We do have a lot of whales in here and a lot of larger players, but there is current rank number 90 as it sits right now. We're not going to stay there, but that's okay because the better that we can perform in this game mode, a lot more resources we're going to get. Now, like I was saying earlier, when you start looking at some of the different formations, most of these formations were incorporated with Temsia, and I'm going to show you kind of the A team, the B team, and the C team. Now, this info, of course, coming from AFK Analytica. Definitely want to put this out, but this is really important with Rainier. Again, not having him at Mythic Plus, not having him built up, you're going to see a really big difference in this formation with the damage. That is the reason why we have a multitude of teams. And even looking at the teams right now, most of the battles in here use Rainier. When you look, again, kind of big picture at your Celestials and your Hypo heroes, overall, Rainier is the one to build for pretty much everything. Unfortunately, out of every summon that we've done, we have gotten 0. We are still at 0 copies of Rainier. The 2 copies that we pulled were actually out of the resources we bought in the Emporium. So actually building those out of the shop, which again, even looking at kind of the time factor here and looking at the damage, we are nowhere close to essentially where we were before. But again, this is really the best in slot team. I tried it a lot with Florabelle as well. So I went in here, did a lot of testing with Floribel because of course she has the little minions that kind of run around. And overall, the damage was considerably lower. I do have her built up quite a bit. We've gotten pretty lucky with some copies of her out of the rate up summons. But overall, again, Floribel didn't seem to have a really game-changing difference for the damage-wise. And that could also be because I don't have a lot of these heroes built out very, very high. So even looking there, guys, a really, really big difference. Now, of course, some of the other formations in here are running heroes like Vela. And I'm going to run through them. I'm not going to go ahead and run the full battle. But a lot of them also do have kind of this build out, but dropping out Corinne and dropping Vela in here. Again, for me personally, at Vela, I do not have really built up very high at all, as you can see. Definitely wouldn't put her in this formation. But again, this is kind of looking at that B formation. Again, having Merrily actually teleport over here. And then the other difference in here is if you don't have Vela built, is actually putting in, where is he? That again, I kind of never use, but that is putting in Seth in the exact same slot. And of course, in here, guys, formation is very, very important. The placement of the heroes in here are super important to AFK Journey, and you really do have to note that. And then, of course, if you don't have a majority of these heroes, is kind of a sub-comp that players are putting in here, and this actually runs Corinne in here, and it runs Vela. So again, having those two that I don't have built up very well, but running in here with a few different heroes. And then, of course, putting Valen in here. This is the alt formation. This one, because there is no hero, a lot of players are actually using the Awaken spell. So this is a change in the artifact where all of the other ones were running that exact same formation. This is a change in the artifact for kind of that survivability. But overall, not having Vela built out pretty well. If you did build her out, this might be a comp that is actually going to do a lot more damage for you. But for me personally, like I said, having Smokey built out quite a bit made a very, very big difference in here. So I'm going to run this just a couple more times to try to see exactly where we can kind of land. And of course, with the multitude, oh, I didn't change the artifact. My bad, guys. That's okay. And we'll see the difference. I mean, we were at, what, 50 plus. This is going to be the difference in the artifact, and you will see it very, very quickly. Now, of course, last time we did have Smokey die pretty early. But overall, I feel like we're probably going to be able to keep them alive because, of course, it's giving us a very, very big boost in there when it comes to the defense and also the healing. And you'll notice that the artifact, it's actually right here behind my little camera. It activates a lot. The cooldown timer on it is pretty quick. And, of course, we already have all of our artifacts maxed up to level 10, which is exactly where we want. But damage, not doing too bad. Honestly, without Smokey going down, we have some shielding. We have a little bit of healing going on with Smokey. Trying to keep them alive just a little bit longer. Which right there, guys, RNG Merrily died. This, of course, is not going to be anywhere near, well, not too far off from almost that 51. But again, it makes a big, big difference with what you're running in here and what you're running in the artifact. So again, I'm going to run this through just a couple more times, see exactly where we can land, because right now we're at current rank number 92, which I'm very happy with. Anywhere that we can score better, of course, is going to yield us a lot higher rewards, which is what we're looking for. Even if we can stay in the top 200, I'd be happy with. Chances are we'll go from the top 10 to the top 100. So sitting in here and getting some of these title essence like we absolutely love to get. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for the team cons for the Necrodrakon. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.